Well, that's one hell of a way to ring in the new year. CreepShow Art really said, cancel all your plans to watch me drag my own name through the mud one last time.
What will you learn? That your actions have consequences!
It's a really bold move to come back after having all your credibility obliterated when all you have is kind of circumstantial evidence and completely irrelevant examples of Emily being a bad person. Shannon is really out here being accused of internet stalking, and her response is akin to, guys, back in 5th grade, Emily Artful lied to her teacher saying that her dog ate her homework. Clearly, she has a history of making false accusations. In this case, the dog being the victim. How do I know all of this? I simply tracked down her 5th grade teacher and talked to him on the phone. All of this is public information, you guys. You are so lazy you couldn't even look at her DeviantArt from when she was 12. That clearly shows how this now 29-year-old woman clearly had issues like 17 years ago. No, I will not address the lolcow situation. I just don't understand why you guys won't take my word for it. It's almost impressive how Shannon could speak with so much confidence. It actually managed to throw me off for a while because I was so confused about how some of these things were her big gotcha moment. I mean, was my stupid brain just missing something? Was it something that I didn't understand? And after some time I came to the conclusion that although I am dumb, her video was even dumber and it didn't actually make much sense at all.
Big bullshit.
Bravo, Shannon! You managed to make such a nonsensical video to the point where most of us questioned our own intelligence. It's actually really impressive.
Electric chair.
Just a quick note before I continue. If you're new to this channel, I just thought I should mention that I'm a guy. I use he, him pronouns, so please keep that in mind before you comment, because the last time I made a video like this, it was hell for me.
Triggered.
From my understanding and what other people have said on Twitter, in videos, and her own comment section, this was less about proving herself innocent and more Shannon going, if I'm going down, then Emily is going down with me. As per usual with these types of videos, I want to insert a content warning. Just like with my initial videos about her, this will contain sensitive subjects such as SA, SW, what does that mean? Stalking, abuse of illegal substances, and yeah, I think that's all, but I'm sorry if I missed something. As always, I need to make it very clear that what I say should not be taken as 100% facts. It's all alleged, and I'm saying that to cover my ass, please. When I talk about allegations that can't really be proven or hasn't been proven in court or whatever, I will try to be as objective as possible, because these things are very difficult to prove. And it's not because the potential victim did anything wrong or because I don't trust them. It would just be very irresponsible of me to state it as facts. I will try my best to make sense of it all, but it doesn't make much sense watching it firsthand, so you must excuse me. I just want to give you a brief summary and address what stuck out to me and I deem worth talking about. If you really want every single detail, I suggest you go watch her video or someone else's if you don't want CreepShow to get that ad revenue. Please do your own research, it's out there, or in CreepShow Art's own words. I want to thank my legal team, family, and no one else, because you people couldn't even scroll down on an Instagram page to fact check her. You really said no evidence, that's fine. It's not like she's accusing these people of felonies that could ruin lives. Her own YouTube channel debunks all of these claims. She said she was so scared to post about her location online during a time she was actively vlogging around her city, saying where she was living and more, but per usual, I will have to do all the heavy lifting because you guys are lazy. This doesn't really reek of someone that is trying to clear their reputation. It's more like someone who wants the last word but also decided to spit in all of our faces on the way out. What makes this video so bizarre and a bit funny is that she genuinely can't make up her mind whether to make this a serious video debunking all of this, or if it's supposed to be a catty drama video where she sprinkles in petty insults. I'm not a lawyer, as you could probably tell, but I'm pretty sure you can't have your cake and eat it. She puts a disclaimer in the beginning stating as follows.
If you are seeing this video, it means one of two things has happened. Either one, my lawyers negotiated with Emily's lawyers and we reached a private settlement which resulted in some form of retraction, or two, I took Emily to court for defamation and came out the other side.
Which really just sets the tone for the rest of this video because, from my understanding, neither of those two things actually happened. According to Emily's tweets after the releasing of Shannon's video, she states, "No, Shannon did not file the lawsuit, but threatened that if I did not delete every utterance of her name/brand without an explanation, that she'd sue me for defamation." So, when we told her we would not be doing that, but would be willing to never utter her name/brand again, she released the video. What does this mean? I'm not sure. Like, even if she were to delete the videos without an explanation, people have already seen it, wouldn't it be more suspicious? I don't know. Even though I'm not very familiar with the legal process as of right now, it almost seems like more of an intimidation tactic. In the opening of her video, the following is also stated.
That is why I made the decision to handle this legally before I ever responded back publicly.
Which I find a bit confusing. I don't know exactly what she means by handling it legally. Personally, my mind immediately went to her making this video with the help of a lawyer, since these are pretty serious accusations. And I would personally want to handle this as professional as possible, only state what's necessary and relevant to at least attempt to redeem myself. It's very possible that she could have worked with a lawyer and had a legal team greenlight this video. If that's the case, then we have bigger issues on our hands. Shannon, we really need to have a talk about what kind of people you hire, cause I really can't see how anyone would approve of this mess. Even if your entire case was completely bulletproof, it really doesn't make you look good at all. Just a brief look at her description and pinned comment, you get a pretty good understanding of the level of maturity here. Any comment stating, "Why didn't you address blank or whatever Buttmuncher75 said about you in their video with 45 views?" That kinda stung, Shannon. My name is actually Muggen Mylle and not Buttmuncher75, and I actually got 286k plus views, which is at least more than 45 according to my maths.
21.
Moving on. If they didn't accuse me of literal felonies, then I really don't care at the moment. There's a difference between people thinking I am a dick and someone saying I committed literal crimes so foul that if I was seen on the streets by someone and recognized, I would be assaulted. There's a reason Emily got a legal notice and other people didn't. Because one thing is more serious than the other. If you can't understand that, then one day there never comes a time when you can relate to this, because it's terrible. Touch grass. Grass touched. Your turn, Shannon. Being completely honest, and I know I might sound pretty stupid for admitting this, I went into this being way more lenient with Shannon than I probably should have. I don't like assuming the worst. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. So initially I was more understanding of the fact that she didn't address the lol cow situation. Talking badly about your friends behind their back is nowhere close to being as serious as stalking, holding CP above someone's head, getting them fired, which in return led to them becoming homeless, and defending their R-wordist you've married. But after processing this new video of hers and going over the older videos to refresh my memory, I realized that the actual reason why Shannon didn't address her lolcow posts was because her story would fold like a house of cards. It's the most solid evidence we have to show us that at the very least she is two-faced. I'm not gonna go over it all again. You can go watch any of the multitude of videos people have made on it. It's already been established time and time again that we can say with confidence that her being outed by the lolcow admins was accurate. By not owning up to it, she's thrown all her credibility out of the window, and we can't trust a word that comes out of her mouth. As some of you might remember, her initial reaction to being exposed on lolcow was to make a community post, which still is up as of me writing this script, as to not waste your precious time, cause I'm more considerate than CreepShow Art. I'll only read the parts I deem relevant. This post just going up because I need to talk about this and let you know what's going on. Earlier today I got a message saying that I had doxed a relative, that I had been called out for saying certain things about myself and other creators and more on a hate forum. And I was confused, because I hadn't done that. I would remember doing that, especially the doxing. That's so firmly against what I stand for, and I don't believe in doing that, even to someone I loathe. However, after being sent screenshots of what I allegedly said about me, myself, my friends, and most importantly, my relative, I realized what had happened. A couple years back, I made a video about how I had been stalked for over 8 years by a woman called Amy. Skipping forward a bit, but to put it shortly, she explained how she befriended Amy. I thought we were okay, but I was wrong, because she's been posting on certain sites, posing as me, spoofing my IP, doxing my family members, writing things about myself and my friends, sending me death threats from other accounts, making false accounts to spam my comment sections, spamming the comment sections of my friends, saying hateful things about me in order to get them to drop me, and just all around doing what she did years ago. That's not it, of course, but the amount of time and energy she has put into this is well beyond what I thought she was capable of. And as far as I can tell, she's been doing this for well over a couple of years. Contrary to popular belief, CreepShow Art isn't that smart. Cause when this happened, she even changed her banner and profile picture to a glitchy version to illustrate how she's been hacked by a spooky hacker. Very brilliant of her. Even if we were to assume that Amy is a real person, it's very unlikely that anyone would go through the trouble to execute this long con just in the hopes that someone would one day track this specific user on an anonymous forum and pin it all on Shannon. All of these posts correlate with her location and devices throughout the years, so it's safe to say that it's very, very, very unlikely that her stalker Amy is behind all of this. Shannon did in fact corner herself with this community post, cause if she wanted us to trust her, she would have to be more transparent and own up to the posts on lolcow. If all she had done was talk crap about her friends, then if I were her, I would easily rather admit to that if it meant defending myself from literal crimes. But as things stand right now, that would also mean admitting that you lied about Amy spoofing your IP, which then again only further proves to us that you have a tendency to lie. I mean, even if she hadn't tried to blame all of this on the supposed stalker, which I really don't care about the existence of, admitting to the lolcow posts would still be like shooting yourself in the foot. As Emily herself has stated multiple times, she's open to the possibility that Shannon and Anthony aren't behind all of this. I'd even say that it's possible that they weren't even behind a majority of it. Still, Emily's evidence is more compelling, and she even got the IP of some accounts, which correlated with Shannon and Anthony's location, allegedly. But even then, just for the sake of argument, if she never got the IP of any of those sock puppet accounts. According to her lolcow history, Shannon had been posting about Emily on lolcow as early as 2018, if not earlier. At the same time as it confirms that she did have an obsession with Emily, it doesn't really matter if she was behind the harassment of her, cause what we know to be true is still damaging enough. For example, accusing Emily of having attempted to end her child's life. Emily Artful uploaded 2 videos trying to explain her absence, when in reality she left because her views are terrible. Before she left, she was tweeted and deleting about how bad her views were, because no one wants a podcast of her talking with other artists. People want fake story times from her, and that's it. That's why none of her other content breaks 100k. So she makes a video saying that she almost killed her child 2 times because she got him sick, and when no one cared, pretended it was creator burnout. Shannon spent a good portion of her video trying to prove that Emily Artful has gotten into hot waters with multiple people and communities, therefore making herself the target of trolling and harassment by different people. While, once again, it's very likely that some of these sock puppet accounts she suspects of being Shannon and or Anthony wasn't really them, but that doesn't really exclude them from participating. Part 2 of The Lies of Emily Artful with Evidence is titled Heroin, which should tell you everything you need to know. This is where Shannon attempts to disprove Emily's R-word accusations against Anthony being her husband. As stated in the beginning, I can't prove whether that's something that happened, I'm just relaying the information. What I can say, however, is that Shannon has the weakest defense I've ever seen in my entire life. It's actually offensive just how poor it is. In Emily's initial statement, she explained that she was very clearly intoxicated when Anthony allegedly R-worded her, therefore could not consent because she was intoxicated. Shannon, being Sherlock Holmes himself, attempted to dispute this by making up a timeline of Emily's sobriety and addiction, using her previous statements online as to prove that she couldn't possibly have been R-worded because she would have been sober at the time.
Disgusting!
It would have been miles better to not say anything at all, because this doesn't hold up for a multitude of reasons. Not only is it very difficult to keep track of this, for example, I used to suffer from anorexia. I can't tell you the exact date when I first started developing it, nor could I speak of my recovery. I couldn't even tell you the year I first began starving myself. It's always just an estimate because human memories are flawed, and it doesn't make us dishonest just because we're not always 100% consistent. Then there's also the fact that Emily herself stated in her CreepShow Art video that she has had relapses that she hasn't talked about publicly. It's really not a black and white thing, so it's actually embarrassing that you would even attempt to use the timeline of her addiction to prove that she wasn't R-worded or whatever. It makes me so mad. Once again, I keep saying this because I feel it's very important. It's possible that they're not behind even the majority of the harassment. It's possible that it was someone else that got her fired from her job, unless Emily got more evidence that points towards them I haven't seen yet. It doesn't matter because there's more than enough reason for Emily to have been suspicious. What I will admit, however, is that there's actually proof to suggest that someone else could have been behind the Snapchat messages Emily received. But then again, it could just as easily be traced back to them. If you don't know already, back in 2017, Emily got very sketchy and cryptic messages from someone called Kilgore Trout. If I'm correct, she has also stated that Anthony is a fan of Kurt von Gott, which this is a reference to. It can also be a coincidence, I'll admit, but it's to explain why Emily thought this was Anthony messaging her. As she has proven with screenshots, he sends images which she believes to have been near where she lives with very ominous and taunting messages. Naturally, she felt threatened. especially since receiving images from where you live will lead you to the conclusion that they're looking for you, which is definitely terrifying, and I'm sorry that she had to go through that. Whether it was actually Anthony or not, it must have been really scary. I'm sorry about that. Something Kilgore Trout kept mentioning was the mind-bending thumb-bending video. Interestingly enough, on CreepShow Art's own subreddit, a user called Peach Implosion posted the following: "What's the mind-bending thumb-bending video referred to by Anthony? I got a DM request on Twitter a few years ago that reads, though often ignored by the proletariat masses, the mind-bending, thumb-bending video has led me on the enlightened path to cuboid thumb-bending nirvana." I didn't respond to it, although I did look the video up, but found nothing. I'd long since forgotten about it until it was mentioned in Emily Artful's video, and now I'm curious again. Anyone have some context for me? Someone else pointed out that Sid Weiler on Twitter got a similar message which they posted publicly back in 2017. The message states, "Verified Twitter account with a mere 12.3k followers. That's a full 0.000000001% of the world's population following you. Impressive. Please continue in your failed attempts at anointing yourself as a celebrity and spoon-feeding your deeply rooted insecurities. Though I recognize that we can't all achieve the legendary cult status of the person from the mind-bending thumb-bending video, you, Sid Weiler, have run a very respectable losing campaign. Please continue to stare at the reflection of your massive ego in the bathroom mirror while the rest of the world ignores you." Without dwelling too much on this, with this additional information, it does kind of seem like this is either a very socially inept person trying to hold a conversation, or it's a failed attempt at an ARG inspired by Kutch von Gut. I'm sorry if that's not how it's pronounced. That's not to say it definitely rules out Anthony and Shannon, but it does provide an alternative explanation. What it does mean at the very least is that Emily wasn't the only one receiving these types of messages. How they could have gotten images possibly near where Emily lives. Shannon did show us in her video that Emily often would share her location on social media and casually vlog her surroundings. Going with the theory that this is just some random person trying to get people interested in their ARG, a common strategy is to get the interest of an already established public figure. Even if they didn't live near her, they could have gotten images online in an attempt to intrigue her because, you know, ooh, spooky, they're near me, let me talk about this online, which will turn people's attention to this new ARG. Again though, that's just a theory. If this is the case, then I don't really get why they didn't stop when she was clearly showing signs of severe distress. But it does explain why they would continue even when Emily was taking screenshots, because if it's an ARG then that's the goal, to get her to document it. I don't know, discuss it in the comments or something. Shannon's video is so long for absolutely no reason at all. She spends maybe not even 10% of the video defending herself, and the rest is just digging up Emily's darker past. At the same time as, yeah, the things Emily did wasn't good. She's been open about that and how she's grown. I couldn't even judge her watching it because I was too busy feeling embarrassed for CreepShow because it was just really pathetic. No joke, she actually went through Emily's old DeviantArt entries from 2006. 2006, that's insane! How on earth could anyone think digging this information up would make yourself look better? Especially when your most solid point was that Emily behaved inappropriately towards a teacher she had a crush on when she was 14! 14! Emily must be obsessed and trying to ruin Anthony's life because she was inappropriate towards her adult crush at 14! 14! You shouldn't even know this information! It's creepy! Shannon, where's your legal team? Do they know about this? Who approved of this? It's actually insane! Oh my god, it's mental! Oh my god, Shannon! You had 6 months to think about this, and at no point did you stop and think that maybe this will only make you look like even more of a stalker. What the...
Electric chair.
What the hell, Shannon? One thing I found funny in a morbid way, as like, wow, you really have no self-awareness, was how she took one of Emily's tweets where she compared her own hair color from back in the day to when Shannon did her split dye. I don't blame Emily for it. I understand why she would start overthinking a bit. Split dye is very popular right now. I even have split dye. I'm not a stalker, I promise. I would rather say that Shannon was trying to match with either Ashley or Emma, I think. That would have been a perfectly reasonable explanation. That's literally all you would have to say. Instead, she said this.
She, however, had never dyed her hair orange. In 2015, she bleached half of her hair, trying to go from black to blonde. Her hair ended up a brassy orange because she didn't use toner as seen in these pictures. Her hair stayed that way for 1 month before she immediately dyed it blue. She never purposely dyed her hair orange.
I'm the Joker, baby.
This is what we in the industry would call a certified Joker moment. Dear Lord, Shannon, this is actually bonkers. This is truly bonkers. Even if she made any valid points, it's all just lost in the sauce, because this was an information overload. Despite all of this, she had the audacity to be very condescending towards literally everyone. My absolute favorite thing, because it's so ridiculous, was how she ended it with taking a huge dump on specifically Tipster.
You should rename your channel Secondhand News, because you can't be fucked to actually research anything before you open your ugly mouth. You watch someone else's video and you say what they said worse than they said it. You aren't a reporter, you're not a journalist, you're a joke. Just know that you are a terrible person, and you can take that forgiveness and just fuck it. Just fuck that forgiveness.
Shannon, in an alternative universe where this video you made was flawless and solid, at the time when you were exposed with very credible evidence and your friends gave you the benefit of the doubt, you refused to work with them. They very clearly didn't want this to be true, but when you won't defend yourself and you act hostile towards any inquiries, it's more than suspicious. I'm sorry, but it don't make no sense, love, innit? I need you to understand that this is very not normal behavior, and I hope we can leave all of this behind us in 2021, where it belongs. May we never look back. And if you're interested to see more of my content, I make a lot of LGBTQ+ stuff, especially trans stuff, but I occasionally indulge in drama. Subscribe for more, like this video, comment your thoughts, follow my Twitter and Twitch at Muggen. I hate doing too much self-promotion on a serious video, but I've got my top surgery consultation the 1st of April, and if you would be as lovely as to help me pay for this life-changing surgery, that would be very much appreciated. I've got a donation goal set up on Ko-Fi, link in description. As always, take care, stay hydrated, and don't cyberstalk anyone. Bye!